Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ryan Watkins from the Alabama Airsoft Association, and we are good to go and do the second video update. I'm sorry it took me a little bit longer to get around to this video update than I previously meant to. I had actually done the video update last night during the middle of studying for my finals, which kind of made it a little bit chaotic and a little bit longer than I had hoped it to be. So I'm planning on this one being a lot shorter than that one and a lot more energetic and more precise or concise because I kind of rambled on way too long on some other things. So anyways, and it's kind of a good thing I waited because now I'm actually at my house. I finished finals and I've actually got more information to give you guys than I did last night and a little bit better way of presenting it. So yeah, here's the outline for the for the second update video. So let's just jump right into it. First of all, I'd like to update the raffle by thanking the Sand Mountain Saints, Jarrett Sanford and his guys from Sand Mountain Saints for donating to, they're going to be contributing to our raffle. He actually just sent me a picture not too long ago of the items that they're going to be throwing in there, and I don't know if they want it more to be a surprise or if they want us to kind of advertise what they're going to be giving us, but it will be there will be a pistol in there and some other things. I mean, it's going to be a pretty nice care package, I'm calling it, from them, from those guys. So if you don't know anything about the Sand Mountain Saints and you're looking for a really good group of guys, go check them out. They're class act on the field, and they will also be there at the event. As a matter of fact, as you can see down here, Jarrett is actually got one of the command roles, which we're going to get into here shortly. Another raffle update is Nashville Airsoft actually got back to me. They're going to be mailing us their package. It's going to be I know it's going to be a gas blowback pistol and some free passes to go up there to play at their, I think it's an indoor field. I'm not 100% positive. So go check out Nashville Airsoft. I've heard a lot of guys back when I used to go play at Bad Karma in Noob Day, Tennessee, up there in Smyrna, back when I used to play with the Tennessee guys a lot. I've heard a lot of good things about them. They've been around for, I mean, heck, that's been over 5 years ago. So they've been around for at least 5 years. So check those guys out. They're incredible. Also, of course, Third Coast is another incredible group of guys that are going to be donating to our raffle. They are contributing one event ticket that's good for 1 year, and White Raven's going to be contributing some things. And then, of course, the Alabama Airsoft Association, we're going to be contributing a big gun. And I can't really say what it is because Tan kind of wants it to be a little bit, which by Tan, I'm talking about Tan Tidwell, one of our admins, wants it to be a little bit of a surprise. So, but I can guarantee you that none of you have this gun, and I can also say that it does take M4 mags. So that's all I'm going to say on the subject matter there. It's going to be a big raffle. Everybody should get a chance to win something. I do know one thing everybody's going to be getting. Here I have 200 patches for Operation Righteous Valor, and they are incredibly made. Here they are right here. I know I showed a picture. I hope that's not upside down because this one kind of is. So I showed a picture of it to you guys, and here it is. It's a little bit bigger than your average rectangular patch. So I guess to give you a size comparison, on your sleeve, right there you go. So that's how big it is. I mean, it's noticeable. It's sturdy. It should last. All the patches we've gotten in the past from these people last. Eventually, we'll start moving towards PVC. The thing about using PVC patches, because I know which are the rubber ones for those of you that don't know, the thing about using those is where these are a little over $1 a patch if you order 200 of them. Those are going to be about $4 to $5 a patch. So if we get a 200 of those, it was going to cost us, $800 at least to get those. So here's the patch. We've got 200 of them, and this is gonna, I thought 200 would be more than enough, but right now as it sits, we're gonna have at least 130 people out there if my Airsoft algorithm's right. We're gonna talk about that as well. Actually, I guess I'll go ahead and talk about that. So down here, which this is wrong, it's actually more than that. So usually the math goes, if you take the player count, which I think now is 77 or something like that. I'd go and look, but I really try not to waste too much time here. So if you take the player count and then you add half of the interested is usually what our events get. I don't know how that works on the national scale or for other people, but for us, for the last 3 years that we've been doing this thing, if you take the going number and then half the interested number, that's round about where you're going to get. Now, every now and then, the last Righteous Valor that we had, over 70 going and 90 interested, we ended up with 155 players. So it's at least going to be 120, but it could be more. I know that a lot of people are vigorously sharing this, which thanks to all you guys that are doing that and promoting this event, because the shirt that I'm wearing is from Saving Forgotten Warriors, and we're going to briefly talk about them again. So this patch, I mean, it's absolutely incredible. It's to signify that you contributed to something, because a lot of people, especially in this state and in the Southeast, knows what this right here means, Operation Righteous Valor. And we list all the military branches down here so that we're recognizing them, and this is to help those guys whenever they get out of the military, and for the ones that need help, it's to help those, our veterans. So this patch is important. This event's important. You guys going out there and sharing it's great. I hope nobody pulls me over and think I got 2 bricks of drugs or something like that. So anyways, this is also more of a unique patch than we've ever done before, because we usually do the square one or the circular ones, which I have the other ones over there. I'm just not going to go run and get them right now, because, like I said, trying to keep the video more concise. So it's going to be a big event, weather permitting, which, speaking of weather's looking great. We're going to get into that later. So without further ado, let's get into the actual update. So the team chats are up. If you have not been added to the team chat, send us a message, or go down to if you go on the discussion, if you click on discussion and you scroll down, it should be like the 3rd or 4th post down, where we talk about the 2 factions and what the team colors are for each faction and how that correlates to, and you comment down below and we'll add you to that chat. I think there's at least 40 people in each chat right now, 40 or 50 people in each chat. So that's incredible. And I know some people want to stay away from the chats, and I understand that because sometimes they can get chaotic. We try to keep those as structured as possible. I'm not going to talk about chat rules or anything like that because it's really not that important right now. But if you want to get up to date, not be lost as last year's Easter egg as far as what your team's doing, I'd go get in those chats. So right now, both teams have set up their command. For the Alabama Airsoft Association, what we recognize as leadership and what you decide to do as a leadership, it doesn't matter. I mean, as long as you have your XO and CO position filled, that's all we really care about, because those are the 2 people we're trying to get in touch with all day for issues we're having with each team, with points, and with new objectives. So if each team decides that they want to break it up into squads or platoons or whatever the crap they want to do, they're more than welcome to. But right now, both teams' leadership is it has consisted of 2 squad leaders, but they're also dividing it up into squads. So I'm just going to talk about what the command positions are. So for the Eastern Coalition Forces, we usually abbreviate that as ECF or Green Team, their CO or first in command is Patrick Pilkington, and their XO or second in command is Jarrett Sanford from the Sand Mountain Saints. Those 2 guys are very well experienced out here on the field, and the thing about it's not necessarily like how much you played, but how much you played on that AO. So they played at a lot of our events. They played at that AO a lot, so they understand how we do things and how things operate out there on the field. So those are good commanders for the Green Team. Same thing for the Western Resistance. Thomas Johnson's been around since we've started doing this. He's fairly young. I think I'm 23. I'll be 24 this year. I think he's like a year or 2 younger than me, but also know he's been, spending a lot. I mean, he I think he went off to basic last year or the year before. I can't remember. But him and Kel Brennan are going to do a good job with the Western Resistance as well. Trust those guys. Trust your commanders. They're all very well experienced on the field. If it recalls me right, Kel Brennan doesn't really ring a bell as much to me as Patrick and Jarrett. and Thomas, but I'm sure I've seen his name somewhere. I mean, I've met hundreds of players before, so it's hard to keep track of all of you guys. I hate to say that, but it really is. So there you go. And speaking of teams, we're going to briefly put you in the Twilight Zone. Yeah, we're going to go over the AO here shortly and that. Okay, so here is the chart that we use to determine what team or what color pattern goes on what team. And as you can see, it's pretty self-explanatory. If you're wearing a tan-based BDU, which are any of these over here on the top left for the Western Resistance, you're going to be on the tan team or the Western Resistance team. The only things that aren't going to be blatantly obviously tan that you guys are going to have and deal with is ACU, and then any black base camo is also going to go on tan team. So if you're wearing some type of like urban digital or urban, I can't even remember the other camo patterns for urban, but they're basically like white and black. So, you know, you're going to be on the tan team. If you're wearing any like Cryptek, what's it called? Typhoon? Cryptek Typhoon. I should know because my seat covers in my truck are this color. It's like a black and gray. You're going to be on that team. You're going to be on the tan team as well. If you're wearing solid black, you're going to be on the tan team. Green team, pretty self-explanatory. All these colors should be green. I mean, the only thing that I guess would be semi-tan would be this one in the middle left and this one on the bottom right. So other than that, if you're any of these camo colors, you should have it. There's very few that don't fall in here. We've gotten asked about Project Honor camo. We used to allow that. The problem with Project Honor camo is when you first get it, it does look more green, but the problem is it fades to tan after being washed a couple of times. And depending on what lighting you're in, it fades. And as a matter of fact, all milsim groups now do not allow that color pattern. Even AMS, who is sponsored by LBX Tactical, who came out with Project Honor camo, they banned it. So we don't allow it. You'll see admins wearing it because we all have it because it is that unique camo pattern that kind of falls in between. So you'll see some of the admins wearing it. I'll probably be wearing it. But as far as players, you should not be wearing that camo pattern. And if you do, we'll have to tape you up and put you on one of the two teams because it's too neutral of a color to determine. So, and none of the rest of it's up for debate. All right. So back to dual screen. Okay. So, so there we go. We colored teams, leadership. All right. So radio channels. So you guys have been asking us a lot about radio channels and, you know, what channels do we have and what are we going to be, you know, what are the rules on channel surfing? So real briefly, channel 1 is for God, or the reason why we call it God is it's short for the game, the game operating division, which is basically who runs the event. Whoever is in the game operating division or is the game, sometimes it's one person, sometimes it's a group of people from the admin circle. They're the ones that control everything from game time to objectives, to any of the timed objectives and stuff, and they can take things, put it in, and take it out of play. They're the ones that basically run the structuring of the event, make sure it's timely and it works, and they deal with penalties and everything else as well. Channel 1 is specifically for that. So, and also to get in contact with admins for emergencies, because that's all used on Channel 1. So no one, absolutely no one should be on Channel 1 for any other reason besides, hey, so-and-so fell down and broke his leg. Hey, we got a blind man here, which if you don't understand what blind man is, we're going to cover it on the safety briefing. We've got a medical emergency out here. That's what Channel 1 is for, okay? It is for nothing else. And if you hear something going on Channel 1, that doesn't mean that you should immediately start radioing like, oh my God, what's going on Channel 1? No one else should be using Channel 1 except for admins, emergency officials, and commanders from each team. So that's the only people that need to be using Channel 1 or someone that is reporting the emergency. Okay? All right. So, and apparently, I mean, the last couple events, we've had some problems with this. That's why I'm having to cover it. Channels 2 through 5 are reserved for admins only. Do not get on those channels for any reason whatsoever. If I just happen to, you know, look at your radio and see that you're sitting on channels 1 through 5, any of those channels, you're going to get a penalty. And depending on which admin gets a hold of you, they may pull you off the field or tell you to, turn your comms off or whatever. So don't do it. Just don't do it. Channels 6 through 15 are for the Eastern Coalition Forces or the Green Team, and then channels 16 through 25 are for the Western Resistance or the Tan Team. So, by the way, guys, if you guys want to do your own random frequencies, that's fine. I mean, sure, have at it. Do your own random frequencies if you're using Baofangs. But if I see that your frequency correlates with what would be channel 1 or any channel that you're not supposed to be on, then we're going to have issues. Stay off channel 1. I can't say that enough. I mean, there's always some guy that shows up and is on channel 1 saying, "Hey, Ben, what are you doing?" Look, from the time that we get there, which is typically way before y'all ever do, to the time we leave, we're on and coordinating on channel 1. So don't clog that up, because if you keep us clogged up, it's going to keep you clogged up, okay? And us being able to communicate is absolutely crucial to having a good event. So please don't do that. Space out your team channels to avoid frequency crossover. I say this, but I don't know the science behind it because I've done it before. As far as if I was running a team and we had 5 different channels and we were stacked up on top of each other and trying to talk and all close to each other or whatever to different squads and stuff like that, it would usually cause a lot of you could hear them because you're standing close to them, or feedback and other things. But if we spaced out those channels, if we had 5 channels and we used the second and fourth channel, then to divide up the squads, then or the first, third, and fifth channel, then we wouldn't have as many issues. I don't know the science behind that. It just works. That's just a tip from me. But at the end of the day, Mount Doom is very mountainous. I'm going to show you a video clip here later on in this update video when we're talking about the AO. You're not going to be able to effectively communicate if you're across the field, because it is 200 acres. We're only going to be using probably about 120, if that. But if you're still standing at the lower end of the field and you're on the upper end of the field, the mountain difference and all the trees and structures and stuff, you're probably not going to hear them very well. So what we recommend is a Baofeng radios. They work fantastically. I forgot the ones that the admins use. I actually have some in here, but I'm not going to go grab one right at the moment. And we also use extended antennas, which, they stick out really far. So that's helped us, but we still even have issues with that, especially when people are on our channels. So, and if your radio is getting low on battery or low on voltage, and you haven't also set your radios to, I think it's high power output as opposed to low power output, and some of these other little settings, just look into the settings of your radio, first of all. And secondly, don't get mad if you can't communicate with somebody that's on the other end of the field. Sometimes what will happen is if somebody wants to be a stationary commander at their fob and they want to talk to somebody on the other end of the field, they're going to have to relay that message through a middleman and then up the field. And that's usually how it goes. You want to probably strategically place a middleman between, especially if you're using the length of the field. If your fob is at, which we'll talk about it here in a second. But yeah, just know that's an issue. Okay, so AO and potential objectives. Let's go ahead and click on this video. My bad, we had a technical issue there. Okay, so this is Mount Doom. If you've never been there, it kind of looks like with this filter like a jungle, but it's not. This field is very mountainous and challenging, and I cannot stress to you guys enough to hydrate. A lot of this footage does not give you justice of just how steep the terrain can be. It has some flat areas and trails for the most part. If you stick to the trails, you'll be fine. But it does have some very steep terrain in some areas. If you guys want to avoid cramping, the basic thing, the thing to do now is start to drink water. We are a week out, starting tomorrow. We are a week out from the event coming. So you want to start drinking water now. And as far as the amount of water, I've read and studied back when I was hugely into health and fitness, which as you can see now, I'm not as into it as I used to be. You're supposed to drink half your body weight in ounces of water. So if you're a 200-pound person like me, then you need to be drinking at least 100 ounces of water a day. And that's at least. You can drink up to your full body weight in ounces of water a day if you want to, because that will hydrate you even more. And also, you need to drink a couple things like I got a Powerade right here that I'm drinking, which this is a Powerade Zero. I don't know why I got a Powerade Zero. It's just here. But yeah, and yeah, this particular objective here is monkey barrels. Monkey barrels is a little bit challenging to take and to utilize because it's wide. It's very or long. It's very long, not necessarily wide. It's very long. This is Ford AP, which is also very challenging to take because you can't flank because of the black paintball tarp netting thing, whatever it's called. And then this is around. Don't make fun of my flag from that event. Our flag's gonna be much better than that one that was just shown. So yeah, I can't really commentate exactly what's going on in the video. But as far as the AO, another thing I would mention about hydrating and strategies, I was talking about the mountainous terrain. I mean, this place really does have, some horrifically mountainous areas, and so you can't communicate from one end to the other sometimes because of just, the difference in terrain and the trees and stuff. But there are quite a few structures out on the field, and hopefully, or it's tomorrow, or actually this Sunday, I'm going to be going out to the field to be doing some work. If you guys want to join me, let me know. But yeah, so. And as you can see, this guy's absolutely just wore slap out. He just ran down, took a flag, ran back up the hill to Brian's Fort, and just absolutely wore slap out. I think that's all. I thought it had a better aerial part, but oh well. Here's the basic map that you're going to get and you're going to see. And here you can kind of see a little bit of the mountainous terrain, but this doesn't do it justice. I mean, basically, the trails are relatively flat besides if you're trying to get from the bottom of this hill right here between 6 and 7 right there, trying to get up to what we'll say, I don't know, that little circular area right there at the top that says something Mount Doom is supposed to be Brian's Fort. As a matter of fact, I should just pull up the other, yeah. So this is actually almost a reverse image of what you just saw. So this little spot right here, getting up to Fort Perkle, or what is now Brian's Fort, that's steep, okay? And the road elevation from this road down here to this road up here, I honestly couldn't tell you. It's all the way level until you get to the crossroads right here where it says Satellite, and then you're going to go straight uphill to get to Twin Towers. That's an uphill climb there. And then it goes downhill to Church right here. And it's not really that steep downhill, but it is relatively downhill to getting there. And then from Pyramids up here to this lower little road that goes all the way to Church, that's a little bit of a climb too. And then to get from Pyramids to Ariana Village, there is a huge valley right here that, I pretty much call this no man's land because nobody crosses it. It's very challenging terrain. You should stick with somebody that knows the terrain relatively well if you've never been here before you come out to the field and try to challenge it, because it will wear you out. There's a lot of structures, there's a lot of action, but there's also a lot of trees and terrain. So don't be scared to go, holy crap, I'm going to be running up mountains all day. That's not true. I mean, most of the fighting happens down in here, and that's relatively flat terrain. It's when people start losing ground and getting pushed up into, like Twin Towers here, which is relatively a pretty interesting structure, or when they start getting pushed up to Fort Perkle here, that is all like uphill. Fort Perkle and Twin Towers are on the top of the mountain, and then down here is the bottom, right? And then there's a huge valley right here. So anyways, that should be enough about the AO itself. Now, as far as objectives, anything, I'll go ahead and point out specifically what the control points are possibly going to be. Fort Perkle, or what is now called Brian's Fort, Fort AP, Blue Base, Pyramid. Oh, actually, we'll take Blue Base out. Pyramids, Monkey Barrels, and by the way, on that video, I got it backwards. What was long was not Monkey Barrels. That was Pyramids, by the way. That was this spot right here that I said was long. I got that backwards. So Pyramids, Monkey Barrels, Twin Towers, And Hidden Fort, a lot of people don't know where Hidden Fort still is. I mean, I actually, I've been playing at Mount Doom since 2009 when I was like, how old was I in 2009? I've been like 13, 14, 13 or 14 years old in 2009 and played paintball out here, right? So from 2009 to, what was it, 2015, 2016 is when I first came across Hidden Fort. You will think you find it when you find Firehouse, but you won't. I mean, it's hard to find. So one of these two back here will be another objective. And then Ariana Village for now is going to be off limits. We're not going to be fighting out there because we don't want you guys traversing this long A road right here that's like 300, 400 yards long. So we're keeping that out of play. We'll have detailed op boards. We typically try to put those out on Thursday. So next Thursday, you should have some detailed op boards, and then your final draft of op boards will drop Friday night. We are a group that likes to challenge you, so sometimes we'll drop something on you a little bit later than usual because we like to see if you'll adapt to it and if you'll even pay any attention to it. Because if we give you all the time, because in a real world environment, and trust me, we have a lot of veterans who work in our group, and we have a lot of veterans in the community and active duty members, stuff like that. And if you've also been a veteran active duty, you can attest to this. But from what I've heard, because I have not, I wasn't in the military, unfortunately. You guys will have stuff dropped on you last minute, and you have to adapt and overcome. So we will always try to throw things at you to simulate like, holy crap, like we've got this. You either adapt to it and plan for it and execute it, or you don't, and you end up hurting for it later. So the only thing I could really throw in about the AO, and I've already been talking about it way too long already, is we're gonna have IEDs, and basically with those you'll have a bomb defusal guy or an EOD expert, and you'll have to help him through, I forgot what process Tan Tidwell's doing, or Admin Tan is doing this year for it. But last year you had to basically like look at intel or answer a series of questions to figure out which wires to cut, and he would cut a bunch of wires and then pull it. And if he pulled the wrong one, and if you didn't cut the right ones and he pulled it, then guess what? It would pull the pin on a pea grenade and it would blow up. So, you and all the people around it got blown up. And so we had a group of guys out of Florida come last year and get them all, I think we had four or five last year that got diffused, and not a single one blew up. So they did a great job. And as a matter of fact, I think every time they diffused one without successfully, blowing themselves up, he would hand them the pea grenade, and they got a free pea grenade to use. So guys, be looking for those objectives. We're also going to have a bomb. By bomb, I better be careful I say that out loud, especially on the internet. It's a ginormous speaker that is hooked up to a phone, and the phone's going to be set on an app that is basically got this keypad, and you'll have to get intel and stuff to defuse it. And if you don't get the right intel and the amount of time to punch in the code to defuse it, or you punch in the wrong code, then it will blow up, and it has a huge speaker on the bottom of it, so it's going to be extremely loud. So make sure you do that. We're also going to have these control points that are going to be worth more points sometimes than others. We may say that the only thing worth points right now is monkey barrels or whatever. So basically, we're going to throw a couple wrenches at your team, and if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. So if you guys are able to catch and dodge those wrenches and adapt to the things that we throw at you, then you should be good in the long run. But if you're not, and you keep falling behind in the points and stuff and letting the other team take advantage of those those time-sensitive missions and stuff like that, where you're going to have to physically carry stuff from one spot to another or get to an area and secure it in a certain period of time, and you're not able to do that, and the other team's able to disrupt everything you do, then you're going to have a hard time. And this event's going to be a little bit different, where it's not going to be just one team doing stuff and the other team disrupting it like it has in the past. It's going to be one team doing stuff while the other team's trying to disrupt it, and the other team doing stuff while the other team's trying to disrupt it, along with your control points and everything else going on. So you got to figure out what's more valuable. I mean, it gives you a lot of things to strategize for. So for all the commanders and stuff watching this and squad leaders, because I'm sure all of you are going to end up watching this video, this horrendously long video. I'm sorry, guys. You're going to have to look at this map and go based off the information I just gave you for the next couple days at least and go, okay, what does AAA usually use as objectives? And how likely are they to use those as objectives again? Or control points is what I meant, control points. And, you know, which I will say that when it comes to planning this, it's the control points are going to be worth a significant amount. But also, you cannot get away with just doing control points. Like side objectives and stuff, if you fail all of them, you're not going to win, even if you do control a lot of control points. So, yeah. So, you got to go, okay, well, these control points, which ones do we want to have? Which ones do we not want to have, depending on where our team's going to start at? That's another thing I haven't told you guys, which I will later on in the week. And also, the other thing is, like, okay, if we do have to take church, if we do have to sneak over and take Brian's Fort, or whatever, how are we going to do it? How can we approach this thing? Like, be planning for that, okay? Look at this map. Be planning how you're going to do that. Be planning how many guys it would take to take something, you know, and you know, create divergence. Be strategizing. It's like a game of chess. I always tell every commander this. It's like a game of chess. It's give and it's also give and take. Like sometimes you have to set up an illusion to make another team think, wow, these guys are pushing hard here for something. We need to move guys over there so you can soften them for a blow from the other side, you know. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys how to strategize, but just be thinking about those things because people try to make it oversimplistic or make it overcomplicated. So new thing that Doug has done is he's got this new pro shop. And as you can see, he's got airsoft guns for sale and for rental up here. And he's got all kinds of equipment and stuff, paintball, airsoft snacks. He also sells the best beef jerky. He's got BBs. This is a new pro shop, and it is done, and it looks absolutely incredible. And as you can see, he's got one of those things where he can actually take a card and swipe it to buy stuff with. So, and then this is, no, that's not Costco. That's Dirk. So, yeah, new big pro shop. Here's the outdoor picture. This is actually courtesy of White Raven. From their event, Mount Olympus 2. So big shout out to those guys. And yeah, so this is the new pro shop. We've got guns for rental if your gun goes down. He's also got guns for sale to buy if you want to get guns. I know he carries a lot of Valken products. He's also got BBs and stuff, and he's got smoke grenades and Enola gays. So yeah, and I think yeah, so you got some map stuff over here. So yeah. All right, so I haven't looked at my note sheet here in a little while, so I don't know how bad off topic I've got. Covered all that. Oh yeah, it's supposed to be a high of 83. That's when I checked yesterday. Let me look at because this is always the most important factor to every airsoft event we've ever had. Is it gonna rain? I tell everybody this every time, even if it is gonna rain. Guys, have you seen the video that Evike Matt did where he submerged an airsoft gun? Well, mine's not loading up right now. But he submerges an airsoft gun and in water, and it shoots it, and it comes out shooting. My app's not working for some reason right now. So, anyways, last time I looked at it, it was going to be a high of 83, a low of 66, and it was going to be partly cloudy. So, and even if it does say like a high chance of storms, it's summer storms, which means it could rain on and off a little bit. It usually doesn't. I mean, the last event we had, it was supposed to rain all day. It looked horrific on the map, but it rained. It torrential downpour till 9 o'clock. When we started the game, it was fine, and we only had one little bit of rain that happened during the event itself, and the whole rest of the event went off without a hitch. It was just kind of cold. So, but that's not going to happen because we're already in the 80s. I mean, the coldest it'll get is 66 degrees. I guarantee you that. So, don't be distraught. You'll be fine. I promise you're not going to melt, and if your gear gets wet, it's not the end of the world. You know, that stuff is washable. I promise you. Tag rounds are allowed. We keep getting a lot of questions of that. The only thing I've been telling people is be mindful. The reason why I say be mindful is because I was at, I think it was Stonebreaker. It wasn't this past Stonebreaker I went to. It was a Stonebreaker before that, which would have been, I don't know, Stonebreaker 2018, 2017, something like that. And this guy comes running around the corner with one of those tag grenade things, and he pulls the trigger, and it shoots into his buddy's crotch and goes off. Oh my goodness. And if you've never seen a tag round, they actually literally explode on impact. Some of them are impact based, some of them are fuse based. So be mindful of how close you're shooting at it and how you're using it, because it could easily be one or two misuses away, somebody getting blasted in the face or whatever, from us saying, okay, we're not using these anymore because they're unsafe and they're causing injuries. So yeah, don't do that. We talked about Mount Doom Pro Shop, potential workday, player count. All right, we keep having people ask us, when should they arrive? Guys, there is literally a posted schedule on the Facebook page. I thought I had a Facebook tab open, but I don't. We literally have a Facebook page open. Or on our Facebook page, we have the schedule posted. If you just scroll down and look, we'll start chronoing people around 8 o'clock, maybe earlier, and you will. So be there in time to however long you think it would take, which for me, it's typically an hour, which you kind of want to get there a little bit earlier than an hour, because if it takes you an hour to get ready and through the process, or if it takes you an hour to get ready and throw all your gear on and make sure everything's right, make sure radios and everybody's got everything they're supposed to, if it takes you like an hour, then you need to get there at least 30 minutes before then, because the line gets incredibly long sometimes, guys. And we're talking about, we could have 200 people at this event easily if, things keep going the way they're going. I keep seeing like 5 or 6 more people say that they're going or added, or, hey, I'm bringing 10 guys from Knoxville, or we got like 20 guys coming out of Florida, 10 or 15 coming out of Georgia, and like 30 coming out of Mississippi, and not to mention the usual groups we get out of Alabama. It's going to be a lot of people. So if you get there early and you knock everything out, then you got time. You got plenty of time to throw on your gear and everything else, because you're going to register, you're going to get a patch like this, and you're going to get a raffle ticket, and then you're going to go get your gun and stuff and take it to the chrono range. And at the chrono range, they're going to ask for your patch. That shows that you paid. So once you got your patch and you chrono and you have your dead rag, your iPro, and a source of hydration, then we'll say, okay, you're good to go and you can chrono. If you show up to the chrono without any of that, then we're going to say, no, you can't chrono. You got to get a patch, or make sure you get a dead rag, or go get iPro or whatever. It's got to be full seal. I don't want to see sunglasses out there. We had a guy try to walk over there with Costa sunglasses, and I said, man, if I got my pistol, my airsoft pistol out and shot you right now in the eye, you would be in the hospital. You'd be losing an eye, and I'd get a felony. So, don't wear that stuff on the field, all right? So, and you go through that whole process, and then we're going to divide you up, and it's going to take you like 50. So, get there. I would get there before or at 8 o'clock. I would definitely not show up at 10 o'clock, because we're starting at 10:30. I don't care. When we get ready to start and we're moving people out, no one is getting on the field. Everybody's going to have to be held back until we get the game started. So once we get to the point where I call the admins off the chrono range, we brief everybody, and then we deploy, you're not going to get the opportunity to chrono or anything until after we start the game at 10:30, which means you probably won't get on the field till 11, 12 o'clock, because I don't know how many admins we're going to have at our disposal, because we got a lot of people coming, and we've only got like 7 or 8 admins. So we've got to make sure that we've got everybody where they're supposed to be. They're watching their area. It's a process, guys. I hate to rant on it, but it's a process. Don't slow down the process because you can't get up early enough. I have to get up. I live in Naniana, which is like 45 minutes away. Not to mention, I also go to school at Auburn, so sometimes I've had to drive 5 hours to get there. And not to mention the guys from Florida who usually get here on time that drive much further distance, which, they do stay in a hotel. I'll give them that. But I have to get up at 5 in the morning just to get there, just to do my routine, to get there on time, to be able to set up everything for you guys. You can get up at 7, 8 o'clock and get there before 9. So that's pretty much it. I think I covered everything. I'm trying to think. Yeah, so Yeah, I think that's it, guys. I think this is it. This is going to be it for me for a while at least. I know the event is a week out. Just make sure you hydrate. Make sure you read the rules that I posted and showed you guys in the first update where they're at. Don't show up to the event not knowing what the event's about, what the rules, or not knowing the rules or anything else. Oh yeah, so I was going to talk about this. So this is Saving Forgotten Warriors shirt. I know I don't make it look very good, but it says remember everyone who deployed, because today was Friday, or it is Friday. So red day, remember everyone who deployed. It's got Saving Forgotten Warriors logo on the back. I don't know if I can turn around enough for you guys to see that. It's also got their logo right there, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So these are awesome shirts. They're going to come out. They're going to sell these shirts. They also have these awesome hoodies if it just happens to be miserably cold like it was last year, which I don't think it will. So, make sure you buy their stuff. They sell great stuff. Same thing for Veterans for Airsoft. I don't think they're gonna be at the event, but they sell good stuff too. So, anyways, yeah, that's it. So I will see you guys. If y'all don't hear from me next week, besides the op words and what's in the group chats, I will see you guys next Saturday, May 11th. Looking forward to it. See you guys.